and welcome everyone, Lionheart here, and today we're playing something a little bit different. Total War on mobile, I hear you say. Total War on iOS and Android. Yes, if you haven't checked out my other Empire Total War videos on iOS, on my iPad, I have a link for them in the description, but we are streaming and recording a little bit of early access to the brand new DLC update that is coming to Empire Total War on iOS and Android tomorrow, the 18th of September, a new world which brings in the Warpath campaign for Empire Total War over to mobile, along with a whole host of tweaks and changes. And I had a chance to have a chat with Feral Interactive, who have created this and worked on several Total War ports and updates and quality of life improvements. Had a chat with them earlier on in the week about some of the new features, so we're going to show off some of those, go through a little bit of gameplay, have a bit of fun. If you've got any questions, feel free to pop them in the comment section if you're watching this over on YouTube, or over on the Twitch chat if you're watching this live. Feral are hanging about in chat and able to answer some questions, so I'll try and relay some of that information back to you guys. But if there's loads of stuff in the YouTube comments, it'll potentially be something that I put to them and come back with a follow-up if we can. Also did take some notes. I'm just going to go through some of the kind of core things that they highlighted in our chat earlier on in the week, but we'll just jump into the campaign. I should say as well, I'm using a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse for this on the iPad, and again to kind of show that we are definitely on iPad. Here we go. So I'm just screen sharing my iPad for the recording. But yeah, the game does have full keyboard and mouse support, which is really great. Love that. It does also have full touch gesture control and touch input if you would prefer to use touch controls as well. Let's go over to new campaign. So not only are we getting the Warpath campaign with the New World DLC, you've also got the late campaign start coming on in as well, which obviously changes the borders and adds in a few more emergent factions that weren't previously playable in the kind of PC title without modifications or other tweaks and changes like that. So you can play the Warpath campaign. We're not going to dive into that today because I think actually probably one of the bigger pieces of news around this is in fact that they've taken all the kind of more fleshed out features for the Native American forces from the Warpath campaign, and they're now all fully playable in the Grand campaign. I think that's sort of reflected in the late campaign start, and obviously you can see a bit more of the territory change because in the late campaign start, the USA is there and ready to go. We've also got national traits, and we'll talk about them a little bit more in a moment. But if we just go back to the Grand campaign there. So yeah, the Native American forces in the Grand campaign are now there. They're kind of full fleshed out Warpath variants, which I think just gives a much better experience for them anyway. Oh, I didn't actually realize I could zoom in on that part of the map. That's cool. Nice. But yeah, another cool thing as well is the 13 colonies. You can now, through a series of missions, actually playing as them. You can split off from the British, you can go independent, and then you can form the United States yourself if you want to play as them from the start of the Grand campaign. You can actually start as the United States straight away in the kind of earlier normal campaign if you want to, or you can play as them kind of fully formed in the late campaign start. Same with places and other factions like Mexico. They're available in the late campaign start, or you can play as them from the start as well, kind of taking over from New Spain as an option there. And also you've got other options in there as well, like Grand Colombia, which is really cool. So yeah, just kind of going through some of the new features and kind of quality of life improvements. So faction traits, or national traits, as Feral are calling them in this. So kind of similar to how we've seen Total War games in more recent years add in more variety and kind of specializations for various factions. So not every faction in Empire Total War on iOS and Android has a national trait, but what they've tried to do is bring up to kind of parity some of the emergent factions, or some of the factions that just weren't well filled out in the original game, by giving them some unique national traits to kind of give them certain advantages, bonuses, just kind of new focus points on how you can shape your own gameplay if you should choose to want to do so. So for Grand Colombia here, we have the Hacienda system. No technology requirement for farm buildings or large plantations and wineries. If you go and look at someone like Mexico, they've actually got 4 national traits. And you also get a little notification there of kind of their strengths and weaknesses for how they specialize. So for Mexico, you've got something like Silver Slump, plus 10% wealth from industrial mining complexes, and minus 90% wealth from mines and steam pump mines. So there's that kind of trade-off there. underdeveloped infrastructure, minus 90% town wealth from tier 1 and 2 roads, but plus 20% town wealth from tier 3 roads, so kind of incentivizing you to develop that infrastructure and focus on that. Minus 90% town wealth saturation migration from tier 1 and 2 roads as well. So if you don't deal with those things, you'll probably find that quite a challenge. Okay, crops, you've got plus 4 prosperity for farms in the New Spain region and plus 4 prosperity for vineyards in the New Spain region as well. And again, the hacienda system for Mexico as well. Looking at someone like the 13 colonies, their national traits include New England colonies, minus 10% construction costs in Maine and New England. Southern colonies, no tech required to construct large tobacco and cotton plantations. Taxation without representation, minus 2 happiness, clamour for reform, and minus 2% tax rate, all regions. And middle colonies, you've got plus 0.2% subsistence agriculture population growth in New York, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, and plus 200 subsistence agriculture wealth in New York, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. And then back to the New England colonies there. USA, so when you transition from the 13 colonies and you become the United States, you'll actually lose all those previous national traits, and instead it'll be replaced by the federal system, minus 2% tax rate all regions, but minus 25% administration costs in the Americas. Another thing as well, which I quite like, is looking at the objectives and tells you which territories you need to take nice and clearly, but also across which theatre. So if we switch over to someone like Portugal, take a look at their national trait while we're looking at it. We've got Brazilian Gold Rush. It's probably one of my favourite ones, and Portugal holds a special place in my heart because it was the first ever Let's Play I ever did on my YouTube channel. Back when YouTube could upload 10-minute videos as the maximum limit, I did a Portugal campaign, which I honestly don't know how I managed to do that now, thinking about it, when, you know, whole battles could take 20, 30 minutes. That would be split across 3 episodes. That was absolutely mad. That I did full campaigns like that. But yeah, plus 1,000 mining wealth in the national capital for each trade node controlled in the Brazilian theatre with 20 or more ships on it. But if we take a look at their objectives, which is what I wanted to show here, we can now see, nicely, this is for long campaign, in fact, see the difference between short and long. So short campaign, you need to hold 2 regions in Europe, which are shown on the map. You need to take Morocco and obviously hold Portugal itself at the start. And then you need to hold 4 regions in India, shown by the separate icon over here. So you start with Goa, and you need to go and take southern India and Sri Lanka and up to the north as well, and a total of 50 regions. But if we go to long campaign, we can also see that then includes some territories in Europe as well. So you need to go over and take out Persia as part of those objectives. So I like that that expands on that. And also in America, you need to take Newfoundland, which is really cool. 25 regions. So nice and clear in that. That's the same across kind of all the various factions. If we look at Britain, for instance, take a look at their objectives. It'll show us what we need within the European theatre, the American theatre, and shows what regions we already start with and have, and what we need to take in India. So I feel like, yeah, those adjustments there, just kind of clearly visualizing that is pretty cool as well, and shows what you need to go after. The Mughal Empire there, getting quite a cool one for their upkeep for foot archers. Minus 2% tax rate, and the Zemindari units use a separate auxiliary bonus from other units. Right, and then you can also configure the campaign as you would do normally. Religion, you've got the modern system, or you can go back to the original for replenishment as well. Automatic, advanced, or original. So that's with the additional auxiliary system that they added into the game with Empire Total War for iOS and mobile. Again, probably go check out my Dutch campaign if you haven't done already for that. So some of the other new features as well that are present. Already talked about 13 colonies. They've added in, I think there's 14 new ships being added in, and essentially these are taken from either existing models that they've been able to modify the number of cannons on them and kind of existing bits and pieces, but also they brought in some ships from Napoleon Total War that made sense to be present within Empire Total War as well. As I mentioned, the Warpath campaign is, you know, fully brought up to date as the base game was for iOS and Android, but probably the big focus is on the fact that these factions now are the Warpath variants on the ground campaign. So they've got new units, or rather from the Warpath campaign, they had newer units added in, and they're more fleshed out and have more features and mechanics that you can kind of engage with from that campaign, but fully playable in the grand campaign, which makes them, typically they were pretty dull. They had, like, I think a very limited unit pool in the base game, so they weren't that much fun to play as and weren't really that much fun to come up against either. There is also a character editor, which I'm not 100% sure how to access that, but maybe Feral can help me out by helping me check that out, because that you can kind of tweak and adjust your characters a little bit if you want to kind of dive into some kind of custom roleplay and things like that with some of the characters that you have on the campaign. I think let's jump on into the 13 colonies to kind of show off some of the features and stuff here. At least initially, and then we'll go check out Portugal as well. So I kind of want to see what I can do with the trade theatres. So in we go, start the game. Yeah, so some of you are saying like, oh, is this available for the PC version? So this is, yeah, so this is completely independent and separate from the PC title. This is just on iOS and Android. I mean, I don't know what Feral have plans with it, or even if it's possible, but I've got to admit the changes in this are certainly changes that I would like to see in the PC version, to be honest, because I think they might, especially I said it in the Dutch campaign I did, checking it out, all the features when this came out on iOS and Android. The research overhaul itself is incredible. Right, so let's just quickly check out that character editor. So here we go. Press and hold the top left, top right of the screen. We can go down and enable character editor. Okay, so I'm assuming I close that, and then let's find a character. Oh, here we go. Yeah, now my mouse and keyboard is working. Here we go. Here's a Protestant. Here we go. Ah, so now I can add a follower, add a trait to him. I was wondering if I could rename him at all. But I wonder if that breaks things too much. Tap here for more details. Okay, yeah, there's loads of info on all that. Let's add followers. Add traits. Ah, here we go. So we can add in loads of stuff here to create our own crazy characters. I wonder what weird and wonderful crazy characters we can do here. Is there a way of seeing what they do, or is this just because we've got the editor? Okay, I mean, let's just give him a load of things. He's going to have everything. Can we just give him everything? Obviously, all the green stuff I'm assuming are bonuses. And all the red things are not good. But let's just make him super, super missionary. Followers, I have no follow options. So I'm assuming that's fine. Right, we'll leave him there. And then I'm assuming I then need to close the character editor. Disable character editor, and then I should be able to. Oh wow! Look at his religious zeal. It's off the scale. Right, devout is +2 zeal, -10% religious unrest. Touched by his hand, +4 to zeal. Woodland how have I just made him the most powerful missionary of all time? So the cheat menu I believe is in the kind of base iOS and Android title. But I think some of these newer features are what's come along as part of the DLC of a new world to add in to the existing stuff. I think you had stuff like, I mean, if we look at the cheats that you've got there, you've got complete construction, you've got add gold, disable fog of war, complete research, and you've now got that character editor added in there as well, which is really cool. So I think they said there's now a total of like 44 factions that you can play as across the game. They've added in with this. Update also adds in a new cheat to the skip cheats, skip research time. Yeah, nice. So yeah, they've added in a few others there for the update as well. So let's see where we got missions, notifications. Ah, here we go. So national transformation now as the 13 colonies. You can do national transformation to the United States. Objective, grow the population of the Confederation of New England region until a town emerges, then construct a school or superior education building in that region. Reward 13 colonies will become the United States of America, unlocking new recruitment options and replacing the 13 colonies' national traits. So that's actually quite a straightforward way of doing it. And when I was chatting to Feral about this, they were kind of saying like it gives you full freedom over choosing. You can rush this very early on in the game if you want to transition from the 13 colonies to the United States, or you can bide your time with it. Because I don't think there's no like kind of time limits or anything else like that to be worried about. So you can take your time with it. You can kind of optimize the time spent as the 13 colonies, and then switch on over and go and proclaim independence and become the United States when you want to later on. What will he do? He'll just, I mean, with all this stuff, surely it'd be interesting to see how much of an impact he has on like a region that isn't Protestant right now. We send him over here. Off he goes. And we can see trade routes quite clearly. So if we go in here, religious unrest, I'm assuming we're going to add a fair bit. Okay, so we're increasing quite dramatically. It'd be interesting to see how much. Oh, sorry, we've got a zeal pressure of, well, zeal points of 9 to their 3. So that would be, we've made him a super missionary right now, going over there. What do other, can we, does this work for, we want to recruit a general. I want to have fun with this character editor. If I just go into Philadelphia. Yes, we can add all sorts. We can add, oh, amazing. Right, okay, I'm going to make the most powerful general ever. Uncle to his men. Over nice. So I'm assuming, orange is kind of like, it's not good and it's not bad. It's somewhere in the middle. Let's just see how powerful we can make you, sir. So if you wanted to do the ultimate general, oh, right, you can only have one of them. Frontier General Frontiersman. I assume is that an upgraded version of it? Doesn't need any of the naval bits and pieces. That's pretty cool. True son of Mother Russia? Sure, be a true son of Mother Russia. Oh, you can only have one of those, right? And likewise, those take on different abilities. Good reconnaissance. It's an upgraded version of it. No sense of shame. Yeah, who needs shame? Siege Defender, Expert Siege Defender. And then we've got Confident Superior General. Oh, no, even better. Glorious General. Born to the sound of guns. Amazing. A fair fight. Exceptional fieldcraft. Raised in the woods. Why not? Devout General of Cavalry. Of course he is. Corporal and Gold Braid. There are so many. I've just seen the little scroll bar here. There are so many traits we could apply to him. But let's just leave him with that and see how that improves him already. Yeah, he's already a pretty smashing general now. Beautiful. Yeah, the UI is really nice and clean on this as well. Again, I'm kind of not spending too much time on stuff I've already covered. But if you've never seen Empire Total War on iOS before, highly recommend you go check out that Dutch campaign that I did before. We'll probably actually maybe we'll jump into one of the Native American factions to play a few turns with one of them in a minute. I still love this research system because it gives you total flexibility over your points. You can choose to spend some of your research point in a technology and then others elsewhere. So you can kind of tweak and adjust what's available. I actually really like this system. I've got no points available, have I? No. Yeah, I won't have enough to split across multiple ones. But yeah, I really like this system. I think it's a much better way of technology, actually. Not just in these older titles, but also in newer titles as well. I'd really like to see it. So you can easily switch through all the theatres. I actually want to just jump on here so you can see our national traits quite nice and easily there. I actually just want to go dive into Mexico. But we're going to dive into Mexico, not in the Grand Campaign, but in the late Grand Campaign. So, there we go. They have emerged. We have 4 national traits. Here we go. Revolution Diplomatic Relations. Oh, goody. Click our mission. Thank you. Right click on you. Away, please. I can't. Why can't I get rid of you? There we go. Right, take a look at our mission. What have we got? Advisor reports. Oh yeah, and we've gained an auxiliary. That's fine. Mexico. Let's have a little look at our forces here. What have we actually got? Grenadiers, Colonial Militia, and Colonial Dragoons. And from here, let's select all units, Army, pop a general in that. Have a look. So what have we got here? We've got Cazadors Line Infantry, Disorganized Line Infantry. Oh, cool. That's nice. Like their final tier troops. If we go along to the end, we can see it shows the different pips with the green there of what they get. So they will eventually get guards. Still got disorganized line infantry, cazadors and line infantry, frontiersmen, cuirassiers, and household cavalry. Nice. That is Mexico as well, and obviously they've got huge amounts of resources. So starting at this point in time, we're at the late campaign is 1783. So you've got that late start date. So I'm assuming you've got until the end of 1825. So that's the new, it's the end of the late campaign. So it's a slightly shorter campaign, obviously, than the Grand Campaign, which is what starts in 1700. So you can choose to play as any of the factions. You can play as any of the factions across Grand Campaign and Late Campaign. And it gives you the option as to whether or not you want to play as their emergent variant, if they have one as such. So, for instance, in the start here, we have New Spain. And then Mexico. Obviously, you can't play as New Spain in the late campaign start because the emergent factions have emerged and replaced them. But yeah, you can choose to play as the emergent factions in the Grand Campaign if you want them to emerge early as such. So you could have a campaign where you start as Scotland or Ireland. Straight away. In fact, very difficult nation. You could dive straight on in as Ireland, and they'd have to hold some regions. I really like that they've the attention to detail with the emergent nations. They've got proper, fully fleshed out victory objectives for them as well. Let's jump into Ireland, just because we can. But this is in 1700 Ireland. So there we go. Immediately in, we've got Dublin. We can start overthrowing the British straight away. And we can jump on in. We can see what recruitable units we've got. All we've got so far is pikes, though. So it's probably not going to go particularly well for us, is it? If all we can get is pikes. And we've got some ships that we can get as well. Yeah, I can understand why that now says very hard. Very hard nation. Intensive farms, iron workshops, because you'd have to... I don't know if you can. You have to destroy that. Ooh, once you get to that level, then you can switch. Oh, you know what? I didn't even see it. They've got this little A or B option right at the top here, right built into the UI there. That's really nice. That works so well. So yeah, you have to get it up to a tier 3 option as such, and then you can switch between going for the governor's residence or onto a military governor's encampment, and that will give you more troops. God, yeah. So Ireland, how are you meant to? That's, I mean, look, that's Ireland right now. Oh. The tilde key brings up the cheat console on my keyboard. That's nice. There's Ireland right now in the early campaign. And if we jump on in to the Grand Campaign, but late campaign start, and then go into them, just be interested to see if they have any... Do they start off slightly better or not? Alright, so they start off there with the military governor's barracks. So yeah. That is much better for you. And you can see all the buildings that are upgraded. They're at tier 4 with the clearances and everything else. That's really nice that it's all reflecting in just that. But still got a pretty tough start as Ireland, even in the late game. Because you'll be starting 1783, but without an army, without any troops, and you've got Britain right next to you. But yeah, this just opens up a whole world of possibilities for some new campaigns, new ways to play, get your line infantry and everything else in there. I think we will exterminate Mania, and I think we'll jump in as one of the Native American factions just to kind of show them off, considering that they're kind of obviously a big part of what's coming in with the A New World DLC that is out on the 18th. Obviously, you've got the Warpath campaign, so you can play through that. But if you want to play it across the whole campaign, which I highly recommend you probably do, you can dive into their fully fleshed out variants present now in the Grand Campaign or late campaign. I mean, let's go for a late campaign start. These guys are an emergent nation. Plains nations, Pueblo nations. I mean, I feel like we're going to get... Oh, Quebec are in there. You know what? I totally didn't see... Actually, sorry. Another thing I just want to show here. I actually quite like Louisiana. Substantial native communities as a national trait. That's quite a cool one there as well. And right from the start, I don't think there's any others. So you've got the Inuit nations you can play as there as well. But yeah, if you want to do a Louisiana campaign, you can now do that as well. Right, yeah, let's go back to late campaign start, and we're going to jump on in. Let's play as the Iroquois and jump on in. So I don't believe there are any new units added in other than the new units that came as part of the Warpath campaign for Empire Total War. So we're just going to get this on. We're going to jump into a battle, I think. Because that'd be nice to show that off. I mean, what better way than to go and fight the Americans? Natives versus colonizers. Select all of our units. Let's bring them up here. What I'll do is I'll jump out next turn with all them and dive into a battle. Just go through it. Just do some little upgrades across all of our farms. Warriors Lodge, get that in there. Got a new building we can place in here. Really like how that all pops up, and we can just easily see what we're building in what places. Craft workshops. Ooh, that's quite nice. Yeah, let's do that. And we've got some research as well, and they've got their own unique tree, Spirit of the Forest. We've already got Call of the Wild in there. Spirit of the Forest. More wealth from farms. Let's go for that. And so we could spend... So this is what I was trying to show with the research points earlier on. We could pop some of our points in there, or we can pop in, what's it, 8 points? Or is that half of it? No. It's how many turns, yeah. Total points assigned. Oh, four per turn. And we've got 10 available. So if we go for that, still means we might be able to go for some other bits and pieces over here. Because the late start as well, we've already gained some techs that have been done. Sharpshooting, so we can pop a few other bits of research in there. I love that we can split our research. That's probably one of the biggest things about Empire, because by default, you split your researches. You can do one different bit of research per university or college or whatever that you've got, or research point that you've got, research place. Which is fine, but the rate of research doesn't increase that much, and it can be quite a slog. Whereas this, I feel like, you obviously, as you get more universities, you generate more research points. It just means you can spread those out, and I think it's just nice that you can choose if you want to go fully economic focus, or if you want to go full military focus, or if you want to have a split between that economic and military focus. And because Empire Total War has those kind of 3 different trees of military, kind of industrial or philosophy. Allies attacked. Who am I allied to? Great Britain. Sure, for the sake of this campaign, we will attack our ally. Why not? Let's do it. War in America. State of war has broken out between Great Britain and France. I like that we get a heads up from the advisor about that as well. Thanks for that one, advisor. Alliance is broken. So all the UI changes to kind of match that, and we can see various bits there. And we've also got a turn report as well. So I'll let you know about any untapped opportunities. That's really nice as well. Actually, just kind of like nice little subtle suggestions of things that you may have missed. Nice little nudge. And we can jump our full force in there. I'm going to grab everybody and we are going to march on the USA. I mean, yeah, let's have a showdown at New York. Whoa! We've been joined by Great Britain. I mean, they clearly want their colonies back. Oh, intercepted. Hello. Peyton Addison, what were you doing here? Right, we're going to fight it. In we go. Why are the mobile versions better than the PC versions? Well, I mean, broadly, it's because the mobile versions are, you know, more recent and kind of being worked on more recently. So they're getting that like that benefit of hindsight of Feral coming on in fresh, fresh lens on the game and the content, and being able to, you know, see what things have been missed. I would absolutely love for there to be a version of this though for the PC, because they've definitely made some very solid improvements across the board. Try and get you selected without selecting these guys. I don't want the cannon in with these guys, but that's fine. Desperately trying to remember my key bindings from PC. Pop these guys there. I've been told as well there are some new units for some factions, but they are variations on existing units. So they're not 100% new 3D models, but more variations on existing ones. Oh, that's cool. So yeah, you might find some nice surprises across some various factions with a few new units being added on in. I feel like disorganized line infantry that we saw available for Mexico, I can't remember that being in base game, but then again, maybe it was a unit that was kind of locked behind, kind of hidden behind one of the emergent factions that I just never ended up playing particularly. This unit on the end here. We do have a cannon. Fortunately, don't have canister shot. Right, let's start the battle. We've got the guard mode button. Thanks for that. Cannon's already opening fire on the American line infantry. And yeah, you've got decent unit size. You've got 160 men each side, which I'm pretty sure is like the standard ultra unit size for Empire Total War and PC. Yeah, for disorganized line infantry is new unit for Mexico only. It's inferior to kind of standard line infantry, but Mexico can unlock some proper line infantry later on once they research reorganized procurement. So yeah, that's pretty cool to give them an advantage over like their kind of initial militia style troops. Kind of a halfway house of getting some disorganized line infantry before they then can get the proper thing, line infantry later on once they do the technology. I can right click on these guys as well. Yeah, the keyboard and mouse definitely I highly recommend it. If you're used to playing these games on PC, definitely worthwhile just picking up a cheap Bluetooth keyboard or mouse. I think this set that I got was something like 15 quid off Amazon. Nothing crazy, nothing special. That certainly does the job. We've got the reinforcements coming on in over there. I haven't turned on the mini map. Now I can see where they're coming from. Let's have that active there. Got my native gunners, musket men. 120 of them firing to the enemy cavalry. Go on in and break them. So I can see where that line of unit have gone. I think it's over here. Or have we just blasted them into oblivion already? Strength of arms and numbers. They're coming in from the flank. So let's just turn around and you get, again, using keyboard and mouse controls, it's a completely familiar experience to what you'd have on the PC as well. Just redeploying the whole force nicely. Archers, let's pull you guys down to the flank. One thing these guys don't have is any way of redeploying this cannon. It is fixed in position. Can we show the Ottoman Lake Campaign? Yeah, we could probably dive into that. I want to check out I want to kind of briefly take a look at the Portuguese with their national traits. I think that's really, really good fun. I'll definitely be, in my own time, playing more of this on iPad and doing a Portugal run. Yeah, the problem is, colonial light infantry, the American troops now are more effective in missile. So they're now doing quite a bit of decent damage. So we're going to dive on in with the warriors, charge across, and take them out. Because if we just try and sit back and shoot them, they are going to best us. Right, for some reason my screen's just gone darker. I don't know why. We've got the cavalry where they don't. So we're going to flank them with that. And go straight on in. We are completely crushing the American forces. Superior melee infantry and cavalry. Balance power comfortably in our favour. Hunt them all down. Oh, they've even got the end zoom button. Nice. If I press K on the keyboard, was that a thing in this? Shift K maybe? Cinematic mode? Okay. Nice. Who haven't we taken out? Who's not broken yet? Yeah, well, I can click on the whole thing and just move around the map like that onto the minimap. That's really nice. Oh yeah, there we go. That's the unit left back there. Hi guys, did you not fancy joining the battle today? No, you're right at the back of the map. That's why you're like, I don't want to fight. We're gonna get ruined. Yes, you will. Yes, I don't believe there's been any kind of battle AI changes, so, you know, the derpiness of Empire at times is still obviously very much present in this, because it is, you know, it's not been tweaked or adjusted. As I kind of mentioned when I played the Dutch campaign, when I first checked out Empire Total War on iOS and Android, and again, speaking to Feral, they very much wanted to preserve the original kind of feel and balance of the game without kind of pushing things too far. And obviously there's limitations in how much they can kind of do with what's at their disposal. So it was more about kind of bringing things up to date and in even parity across what they've got, rather than looking to see if you know, they could revolutionize the AI as such. Obviously, it's not exactly the largest battle, but certainly not the smallest battle that we can have, and this is running really, really nicely on the iPad. Pass to the spirit world. Oh. Whoops. My general's gone. I mean, it's me. It's cavalry. He was probably going to die, wasn't he? But we will have victory over the Americans. Come here and shoot him. He was 3 days away from retirement. They always are. Why are they always on these dangerous missions with me? A few days away from retirement. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it doesn't matter if I'm playing Total War on PC or on mobile. Cavalry's still gonna die. Oh, there we go. The enemy warlord has been killed. He's down. Oh, this was like the first unit. This is the first unit. It was like, no, we're going to march across the map and we're getting out of here because we do not fancy facing the natives. They're going to absolutely just destroy us. They clearly heard the glue supplies were running low. Need more glue. Which is unfortunate if you're a horse. Under my command. Fight to the last. We will overrun them. Yeah, there we go. They're wavering. One of my troops as well, but it's a numbers game today. And they are out of here. Victory. Boom. End the battle there. Close. Having a giggle. Beautiful. We lost 444. We get all the usual battle statistics. Again, if you're familiar with Empire Total War on PC, this will all be very, very familiar. This is not a different game in terms of it being like cut down or reduced or diminished. If anything, it's enhanced. Just by being on mobile as such. Oh, that's where I accidentally gave them the move. I was going to go for New York. Hi guys, have we got a little bit more movement left? Let me just take a unit out, leap ahead, and let's claim New York, shall we? Boom. Well, job done. I mean, the Americans do still have Boston and everything else, but I'm going to claim this as a total and utter victory for the Iroquois. We've taken New York. Job done. Right, let's jump into some other factions that you guys said you wanted to see. One, two of you wanted to just kind of see what the positioning was of, or how things look for the Ottomans in the late campaign. So we'll just jump into that. We'll jump into Portugal as well, because again, I really like that national trait. Just because it instantly makes me think, hey, I want to focus on building up the best, most efficient, powerful trade fleet and trade node possible, which is reflected in the text here about what Portugal actually did historically to try and consolidate their economy and bring in, great wealth to Portugal with these kind of big sort of not treasure fleets as such, but big trade fleets. So let's go late campaign start. But just look at the difference here. If we go grand campaign, you can see, I don't know if they've got this 12 starting regions. Is that the same on late start as well? Yeah, 12. So it's 12 as well. I don't think they've gained any other ones as such there. We can go and configure, again, the replenishment system, miscellaneous bits and pieces for religion and forts. You can choose the modern system. Forts cost money to maintain, but provide a discount to garrisoned units. Forts have no upkeep cost or effect on garrison unit upkeep. So yeah, you've got the modern systems there. Similar, again, if you're familiar with Rome Remastered, where you've got the kind of different ways of switching out the features there of the kind of improvements that Feral added in with that, versus the kind of original experience, you can choose to do that. What is actually the Ottoman? Okay, yeah, just expand out basically the Ottomans. So yeah, you guys want to just take a look at how that looks on the campaign map. Very hard, going hardcore. Oh, of course. Got to be done. But yeah, if you guys have any other factions that you want to see while we're streaming this today, let me know. But this is the Ottoman start for the late campaign. See all their information. You can see all their victory conditions required by the year 1825. And you've got full control over your lists and agents and again, everything from the base game. Oh, wow, got a huge amount of research. I didn't actually click on that before, but we can see where all our research points are coming from. So we've got 3 educational buildings providing 35, and then we've got 2 gentlemen providing 6. So a rounded total to 40. And you can also see bonus research points if they're applied. So yeah, also bonus research point there applied for military ordnance, naval, agriculture, industry, or philosophy. You can see what they've unlocked as we go through. Naval College. Lime juice and sauerkraut. The icons looking rather shiny and nice and new. Kind of, I don't know if they're new or the original ones or just kind of redone ones from Empire Total War, but they look shinier, they look clearer, nicer. Let's have a look through. See what ships have we got here. Quite a few. Got the rest of the 5th rates over there. Diplomacy is something I haven't shown off yet today, but again, you've got the full collection, so you can actually see, if you click on the faction, you can see why they are hostile to you, different differences, why they've got differences, and what's contributing to that hostile nature. You can see then your protectorates, allies, who you're at war with, and who you've got trade with as well. Just as normal, you can open negotiations, clearly see all your options, requesting trade agreements, proposal balance if it's unacceptable or what have you, and how that weighs up. Right, so I think we will just go in, just take a look at seeing. Maybe we'll just see if we can, as Portugal, see if we can build up a big old trade treasure fleet to really highlight that potential strength. I guess we'll start in the late campaign because I assume we'll be economically a little bit more powerful. We can get some ships out. So we need 20. To trigger that national trait for the Brazilian gold rush. So let's go to Brazil, everybody. There's Portugal. Bonus research points, the ones you get from the traits of in-game characters. The entire UI was repainted and upscaled from... Oh, nice. Well, we're already looking pretty tidy with our income. Actually, I wonder where would it come in? Would it show up as I should assume it would show up as trade actually from the national trait there. Wait, they made Portugal a major faction, so it's not even necessarily there's the kind of like made. Well, actually, I mean, how's it shown in diplomacy anymore? There are still major and minor factions as such, of which Portugal is still one. But what they've done is that they've made it so the minor factions are all playable, and they've all got kind of reasonable parity with the rest of the factions in the game. And where they are lacking in some areas, they've been given unique national traits to enhance them further and make them more interesting. But you still have that distinction between major nations and minor nations of the period. So actually, we've already got a fleet here, but to trigger that national trait, each trade node controlled within the Brazil theater with 20 or more ships on it. So we need to add more ships. Oh, so the gold track gives mining wealth to Portugal, so the increase will be shown in the settlement's wealth value and hence, and tax income. Okay. Oh, the auxiliary bonus, yeah. Increased replenishment rate and reduced upkeep costs when stationed in a region in which it can be recruited. So I think we've got 9 units there. So we'll need 11 more ships. So let's see if we can't just push out a load of ships, or see what fleets have we got remaining. And we're going to send them all to Brazil, just because I want to kind of see that impact in action. If we go national summary and we go to our lists, we can check our fleets. Because we've got a few ships over here. So in fact, I'm going to tell everybody to not... I'm going to send you all over to Brazil. Because that's where we're going to get our biggest bonus. Who else have we got? You're in the Ivory Coast. Yep. Yeah. Send those to Brazil. And that should be enough for us to get that to a full 20 stack. I think. Should be close-ish. I can send you guys as well. Just send you guys over then. That'll do it. I could use the cheat menu. That's right, actually. Yeah, just instantly build some stuff if I wanted to, just for the sake of showing all this off. So I think I have to have something selected and then do that. Let's get recruiting. Import recruitment. Trade ship. Why not? Will that let me get every... Will that let me do it, all of it? Let's find out. Do I need to be on that? Let's find out. I'm a good boy. I don't normally need... I don't normally do cheats. How do I do it? We just select the board. Oh, agent. Oh, there we go. Just had to close it. I'm a good boy. I don't normally cheat. There we go. Right, there we go. All my trade fleets, or all my trade ships, I should say. I think we're now sending enough to Brazil, just for experimentation now. I feel like I might need to just give myself a little bit of extra gold, just to be safe. Oh, wow! I gave myself a lot of gold. Beautiful. Let's end the turn. You reset move. I don't think you can reset movement. Ally attacked Spain. I mean, right now I don't want anyone to go after my I'm going to break alliances. I don't want anyone going after my ships because I just want to see this in action. So I don't want to cause an upset. And have my ships fall to bits. So we'll leave all that there. Fleet arrives already. Good. Here we go. Wasting no time. In you guys go. We'll need another turn just to get the rest of them all there. But we're nearly there. So that's increased because we just thrown a load more ships onto the trade route, as we can see. But we should see that jump quite considerably in another turn or two once we add the other ships in there. But I think it will probably take another turn after that for it to click in and activate the national trait there. But yeah, what do you guys think about national traits so far? Or if there's a faction that currently doesn't have one, is there a national trait you could think of for them that you'd love to see added in? I just really like the fact that they give you a way of focusing on certain gameplay elements. Typically, with what we're seeing with most of them, it's either, you know, a more economic focus for a lot of them. But I think that's quite nice because I feel like the economy in the original PC title is quite for a lot of people. I don't think that either they understand the mechanics of it or they don't really spend a lot of time on it, and it can actually be quite intricate and quite detailed, especially with the way that something that kind of Feral talked about when they initially brought out Empire Total War on PC, was that there were a lot of kind of systems not so necessarily deliberately hidden in the kind of PC title, but more that it wasn't obvious or clear what those systems were doing or what they were meant to be doing, or they weren't properly synergizing. So you probably will find the economy experience much more satisfying and much more enjoyable in Empire Total War on iOS and Android compared to the kind of PC version, because a lot of those systems are now working as intended and synergizing as intended. So if we look at taxes there, we'll see if that goes up next turn. I mean, I think we've already jumped up our income quite nicely, but that's because we've got another trade, a trade node active. So let's just end the turn again. That should, if I'm not mistaken, if we've done things right, should see that increase by another 1,000 already because of that national trait system. Are the Spanish colonies in South America playable? So you've got Gran Colombia and Mexico are emergent factions. Within kind of Central and South America that you can now choose to play as. Or maybe it already applied it last turn, in fact, actually, because I don't think that hasn't changed. So I think that is up on our tax there. Actually, I mean, there should be a way of kind of checking it if we take them off. But I think for now, that's just adding the flat 2,000 that we're seeing there. I think actually, is it that it's, I think I know what it is. Is it specifically, it's mining wealth in the nation capital. So it's not a flat 1,000 extra gold. What it actually is we will see wealth modifiers, industrial impact. I would have thought, so it's coming in from that. Taxable wealth generated by each source per turn, I think. So that's what's then adding in the taxable wealth modifier. And then obviously of that, we're getting a tax rate percentage from the total from Lisbon, taxable wealth, and then that generates our increased income there. And yeah, Feral confirmed that they have written a lot of new victory conditions for the DLC. So previously only the base game playable factions had them originally. Because I always remember that being like a pitfall with the kind of like faction unlocker mods of the early days of Empire Total War. You wouldn't actually have, you could unlock all these factions, but you wouldn't have any objectives, which for some people isn't a problem because they just always see Total War as the ultimate sandbox anyway. But for me, I always like to have a bit of a narrative, a bit of an end game goal to work towards in some form or another. So it's nice to it's nice to see that they've given them all specific objectives, which is really good because now you've got total like 44 factions to play, and they've all got their own objectives for their campaigns. They're not just kind of aimlessly wandering around. They've all got objectives. A lot of the emergent ones that they've added in or made playable have all got their national traits, so that you can all fully engage in those, and really get a rich, full campaign from those factions as well. Just jump back on in if there's another faction you guys want to take a look at before we wrap things up for today. And this first early look. Oh, it's not early look. First look at a new world which releases tomorrow. But you can see all the objectives there. So if we choose someone, for instance, an emergent faction like Dagestan, you wouldn't think that they've got objectives. Oh well, they do, which is to consolidate the north of their territory. That's for the late start of the campaign. Crimean Carminate, long or short. So they've got written objectives for whatever varying length of campaign you're going for, which is really nice to see. And again, if you play in the Grand Campaign, not the late campaign, they've got a few more regions to go after. Can we see Grand Colombia really quick? Yeah, of course we can. Let's go to the late campaign start for them. And go to America. And here is Grand Colombia, which are an emergent faction. Late campaign, they need to hold 3 specific victory conditions of Panama, New Granada, and New Andalusia, and 15 regions total. So for Gran Colombia, you've got the Hacienda system. No technological requirement for farm buildings, large plantations, or wineries. So there we go. We've got New Andalusia. We go on in, we can see kind of a selection of their troops that they've got. Legion Britannique. That'll harden British veterans of the Napoleonic Wars. Oh, okay, yeah, because obviously this campaign goes on until 1825 if you choose the late start, so that's cool. I want to say they're a new unit. Again, they've kind of, as Feral have confirmed throughout the course of this this stream and video, they've kind of repurposed and made some fresh variations of existing units. So I think that they kind of look like they've taken like the Green Jackets from the British and added them on in. So that's really cool to see them in action. So you got some new units, and kind of it looks like probably, I don't know if maybe every faction has them, but it looks like maybe each faction has one, or each new faction that wasn't previously playable because it was an emergent or one you had to unlock. Each has kind of one new unit or something in there to add a little bit of extra kind of flair and flavor to it. So it's already researched because you don't need any of those. You guys would also like to quickly see Mysore in action. We'll just jump on over there as well. So you got play battle for everything you can do: land, sea battles, Afghan mountains, what have you. Choose technological era, and you've got all the factions: emergent, unlocked, and original, all playable. And you can kind of see all their units in there. So that's actually a good way of just kind of checking through, seeing who's got what units are available. You can see all their units they have available. This is the early tech. So we went all units and then went through. We could actually see everything that they've got. Yeah, so the green jackets, yeah, the Legion Britannique is a variant of them that's added in for Grand Colombia, so that's nice. I wanted to see what Mexico have in here. So they've got some conscripts in there, some grenadiers, cazadors, conscripts in their armies as well. Oh, that's the army that's already been put together, sorry. So I was looking at the wrong one there. This is everything they can get down here, their full unit pool. So disorganized line infantry. Got some Irish brigade showing up in there, some expatriate infantry. Can't remember the Puckle guns, Republican Guard. Yeah, US have got plenty of units. Lee's Legion, the DLC units, I think, added in. I know they had low. What you had, like the. I'm trying to remember what the DLCs were called for Empire Total War. Was it like what that DLC was? A unit pack they did. Several unit packs, I think, in the end. Was it like Units of the East or something like that? Mountain troops. Oh, that's cool. I think that's a new variation on something. But yeah, lots to explore, lots to uncover. Let's just briefly go check out Mysore, you guys requested as well. They probably want to play them in the Grand Campaign over here. So their national trait is plus 100% research rate on all tier 2 technologies. How did the combat work? Yeah, it works well. I am using a mouse and keyboard for this, but there is full touch control support that you can use as well. But for me personally, I do find I'm not used to like playing Total War games, obviously with touch control, so I find that a bit jarring. So I do prefer the keyboard and mouse support. So I'm very thankful that they've got that full support in there. But you can control everything with touch controls as well. I don't know if we take these guys here and just go. We don't want to attack the fort really. I'm trying to find an enemy army. Go attack here. Here we go. Says I'm not going to win. Bring it on. I'm going to probably try this out on my Samsung Fold phone as well. Because that'll be incredibly dangerous for all kinds of productivity, sleep, and everything in between. So, I mean, if you want to... I'm just now using the touch controls. Gotta admit, probably like moving around the camera's very satisfying with touch controls. Especially because you use 2 fingers and you just rotate your fingers around. Pinch and zoom. Right, and then just moving around with 1 finger. Select a unit. Press and hold and you can... can select something? Oh, there we go. Oh, cool. Press and hold down and then can I... If I grab it at the corners... Oh, that's really good. Okay, yeah, I hadn't actually looked at the touch controls for this because I just got keyboard and mouse and I was like, I'm going to play keyboard and mouse. But right now, you just, yeah, so you just select a unit and then you hit the check and it'll move it there for deployment. That's, you can draw on it. So if you press and hold down on a unit, it brings up this box around it, rectangle, and then you press and hold on one of the sides. You can then just drag it out the unit size however you want. as you would do with a mouse, and you can do it like that. So if I take those guys, you can also do groups as well. Lock them into formation. You've got loads of on-screen buttons as well to help with this as well if you're just doing things fully touch. Show group formations. Oh, here we go. That's what I want. I want single line. And I can just drag them across like that. Lovely. Oh, I forgot my general's on an elephant. It's a bit of wall stopping them there. Let's begin. And what I'll do is, we can see the enemy forces over there. We'll get the mini-map up. What we'll do is I'll move these guys forward with touch controls, just kind of show what that's like. Yep. Cancel that. So I think I can select that unit, select that one. So press and hold down. Press and hold down on them. Then we go. Now I've got the whole box formation that I can now move forward across the map to say here, and then accept it, and then they'll lock that in and move. I feel like in a way that gives you a bit more of like, I guess it depends down to your playstyle a little bit of do you tend to do a lot of your move orders and attack orders paused and then hit the game playing? I'm assuming that pauses the game when you're moving a unit. I mean, we can test it here actually. Yeah, so it pauses it. Oh no, it does it in slow-mo. Okay, that's cool. So the game is still running, but then gives you. That's cool. I can just redirect them around like here and then confirm it, and that's given it its new move order. Okay, I like that actually, that it doesn't fully pause it because it keeps it going. But yeah, kind of got the best of both worlds there. If you want to play it, basically just a super portable version of the PC version. You can pick up a cheap Bluetooth keyboard and mouse, or if you've already got one, probably find actually a lot of your keyboard and mice that perhaps already might be Bluetooth enabled that you might be able to use with an iPad or a tablet or something like that. Or you can just do fully touch control, or you can do a kind of a hybrid mix of both. I actually find myself when I am using keyboard and mouse, and how I have been playing today, kind of a hybrid mix. I tend to do all my command of my units keyboard and mouse because that's what I'm most familiar and used to, having played years worth of it on the PC. And then I tend to scroll through menus and buildings with the touch controls. And also like reshaping the minimap right now, just doing that with a bit of touch. For the ultimate combo. Do they just completely obliterate? I mean, they are horse archers, right? Yeah. I swear, I'm not trying to kill all my cavalry. Stuff just happens. Oh yeah, the elephant gunners, they're great. Right. I've suddenly realized this whole time. These guys are melee guys. They're melee units. Let's get stuck in, shall we? Yeah, dervishes. Yes, they were horse archers. They, with the emphasis being they were, they're now very dead horse archers. I mean, there's 4 of them remaining, so, you know, I've spared 4 of them. Am I completely misremembering Empire Total War here, or are there elephant cannon? Is there an elephant cannon unit, or is that in Medieval 2? And I'm having a fever dream. It was just Medieval 2. Total madness. I mean, I'm trying to charge melee units into elephants here. I don't see this going particularly well. Pull that unit round. I'm currently at the elephant's playthings here. Oh, the enemy general is killed though. So oh no, they've gone. Look, victory. The auto-resolve doubted me. You guys probably doubted me when you saw me throw missile cavalry into a melee attack, but we still won all the same. Quick look at the ships. Yes, let's just briefly do that before we wrap things up. If we go into a new game, player battle, and we can just show which ones are currently the new ones. Ah, we have the HMS Victory brought in from Napoleon. So yeah, it's kind of another new addition with the A New World DLC for Empire Total War on iOS and Android. 14 new naval units, either variations of existing ships from Empire Total War and some coming over from Napoleon as well, that they felt fitted the setting pretty well. Where is it? Where is it? The Santísima Trinidad. There we go. This floating behemoth has 140 guns on her 4 decks. So again, she was a unit from Napoleon Total War that they have lovingly brought into Empire. Absolutely stunning. So in fact, I now have the full list of ships that are in A New World update for Empire Total War on iOS and Android, which are a corvette. There's a late 5th rate frigate, a 4th rate frigate, a carronade 4th rate, a light 3rd rate, an 80 gun 3rd rate, and then, as already shown for the British, the heavy 1st rate uniform armament, the Santísima Trinidad, the carronade Dhow, the carronade Indiaman, the 3rd rate on flute, the 2nd rate on flute, and then there's the Royal Fleet galley, the light galley Sea Fencible. So more ships to add into the mix. So we've got the corvette in there as well. I'll try and find some of the other ones that we just mentioned. Late 5th rate frigate. You're just kind of filling the gaps. Certainly because you've now got that late campaign start as well. I'm going to fill some of those gaps that would kind of otherwise appear. Gives you a little bit more firepower while maintaining some, I would assume, some pretty decent speed for some of these ships, because otherwise I always found my navies just turned into a spam of heavy 1st rates, which are great, massive firepower, but very slow. So, and Ferrell's reasoning for this were that they wanted to increase the quality of ships that nations could operate once they'd researched and constructed tier 4 ports, but they didn't want to dethrone existing 3rd rate ships from their position as the mainstay kind of unit of any sizable late game fleet, apart from me, who just spammed out 1st rates. So you've now got new frigates and smaller 2-deckers to help bulk out your fleets with, you know, slightly faster than your heavier ships. They can, you know, act as kind of almost medium ground kind of skirmish vessels that can actually hold their own as well. And they also wanted to add in the development of more superior trade ships. So I think that's something that was always pretty weak in the base game. You had your merchantmen early on. Merchantmen, right? You got some Indian men in here. Was it merchantmen? But yeah, I mean, the Indian men are good, but they've now got a carronade Indian men in there as well. Was that always in there, carronade Indian men? But yeah, just to give you some stronger trade ships later on, which the second rate on Flute acts as an extended trade vessel as well. Because otherwise it was what galleons were a really solid trade ship and offensive ship as well. Remember, just getting a load of galleons to go about the seas and cause carnage against my foes. So there we go. And I think that is where we're going to wrap up our coverage of A New World for Empire Total War on iOS and Android today. A huge thanks to Feral Interactive for giving me early access to this, having a chat with me, going through some of the kind of key core changes, and for hanging out in the chat of the Twitch stream that we've been recording as well. That will be up on YouTube shortly, and just answering some of your questions that you guys had. So yeah, if you're watching this over on YouTube, let me know what your favorite feature is from this, and you know, what feature would you most like to see perhaps appear one day in the PC version of Empire Total War. Obviously, we've mentioned other things about if there's other national traits that you'd like to see added to other factions. Let me know your suggestions for that. And of those naval ships, what do you think? Do you like those additions? What's your favorite naval vessel that's been added in? Or just what's your favorite naval vessel in general for Empire Total War? For those watching YouTube, I hope you've enjoyed. You'll also find in the description a link to the full patch notes that come alongside the New World DLC. Find a link to where you can check it out as well if you haven't done already. Until the next one, take care, and ciao for now.